All right, gotta get another video here. I just came back from having lunch. Yeah, you get to see me flossing. So, previously on WandaVision, I remember all those previouslys, for example. And yeah, so I just came back from rewatching everything great about WandaVision episodes 1 through 3, and now we're on episodes 4 through 6. And this is where, in my opinion, the series gets interesting. It kind of trumps um the other episodes in many ways. But anyway, let's see what's going on, with Wanda and Vision. Episode 5, and 6 of WandaVision. This is CinemaWins. Everything great about WandaVision, and like I mentioned, he's probably going to have the final video of WandaVision out later this weekend, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely react to it first chance I get.
First real up-close and personal look at undusting.
Yeah, that was really
even
cool.
more up-close than the dusting in Infinity War.
Lieutenant Trouble.
And a 2-minute early hint.
I'm going to say this, and people can shit on me all they want. I think this series actually handled an experience of the reverse snap, better than Far From Home ever did. Because Far From Home, they essentially treated it like a joke in many ways. It's like that was one of my issues with Far From Home, was that they treated it like a joke. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, everyone's back. Boom, let's get to the movie. And it's like, I know that they weren't necessarily supposed to handle that, but I got various problems with Far From Home. Even though I still enjoy it, I still have problems with it.
About Monica's identity, if you were paying attention during Captain Marvel, or
yeah, that is true. You hear the audio of Carol calling Monica Lieutenant Trouble, which, if you pay attention, is actually Monica's nickname that Carol gave her.
Made a 2-part video about it.
No. Which was 2 years after our wife. After you disappeared.
But it's funny that it took a show about period sitcoms to get some real up-close and personal reactions to the blip.
It's
we got
better.
a little in Far From Home, but nothing this serious.
Yeah.
Something like the utter
That's what I was
chaos we
saying
all
right
assumed
now.
would take place when people who'd been gone for 5 years just started reappearing. Sword changed from Sentient World
Sword.
Observation and Response Department.
Sentient World Observation and Response Division, yeah.
To Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. Feels like a weird choice, but it definitely focuses it more on Wanda and Vision and Carol, I guess, rather than just green shape-shifting aliens. Ah, so that's how Monica picks her superhero name. A news channel. Or maybe that's why she'll decide to go by Photon.
You haven't aged a day.
And you look old as hell.
Compliment or honesty?
Shifted away from manned missions and refocused on sentient weapons, like it says on the door.
The MCU is always its own thing, obviously, but the events of Endgame have conclusively sent the MCU down its own reality, which I think most comic readers enjoy. So now we're getting the same organization, but with a varied goal.
James E. Woo, FBI.
The card trick. I flipped when I saw this. I like that because you did see it a little bit in Ant-Man and the Wasp, where, Jimmy Woo's like, how'd you do it, Scott? And Scott's like, do what? The card trick. Really? So, I like that that Jimmy Woo learned some magic and like that. I gotta learn the card trick one time.
Scott Lang's close-up magic that Jimmy coveted so much.
Yeah.
Growing up, other kids had Michael Jordan posters on their walls, but I had Elliot Ness.
Elliot Ness? Really? You idolize the Prohibition guy? I won't begrudge you Kevin Costner or Robert Stack, but the actual cop? I guess Al Capone sucked.
We're not supposed to talk to each other.
Boy Scout leader, got it.
I'm a chemical engineer.
No one cares.
2 lines back and Darcy showing the most
Yeah.
intuition out of all the smarties.
What kind of data are you getting?
I'm afraid that's highly classified.
You can't see anything?
CM.
Cosmic microwave background radiation.
So if the Mind Stone was created during the Big Bang, I guess it makes sense that Wanda's magic, which was enhanced by the Mind Stone, would use CMBR to create her sitcom reality? It checks out.
That is true. It's, radiation dating back to the Big Bang.
Sewers will take you straight into town.
For the keen-eyed, or those paying attention, or spending a crap ton of time on Reddit, you'll notice that this episode is a quick walk through the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, that is
the
true.
drone Monica sent in, the guy that comes up out of the sewers, and obviously Monica getting booted out at the end. I appreciate the clear timeline even for events we didn't see.
So you're saying the universe created a sitcom starring 2 Avengers?
And that's
Everyone's
pretty much
react-
how it was sold to us.
Yeah.
Out with the old TVs and with the newer for the next generation sitcom. So they weren't wrong about everything. Another solid clue for Agnes not being part of the town since they can't find her ID.
That is true. By the way, so yeah.
And then there's also
Yeah.
scenes that we saw that Wanda
Wanda
cut.
cut.
We saw the cup breaking, but Wanda only broadcasts what she wants the truth to be.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying. And you can even hear the leftover break of the cup in the sound. Something I didn't notice initially is the color getting sucked out of the beekeeper, and the world makes it even more unsettling.
I can't believe Wanda and Vision are having a baby.
Jimmy and Darcy both totally enthralled with the show.
Twins. What a twist.
Again, the aspect ratio sliding down and out to cinematic, which is interesting because it lets us know that Wanda was just broadcasting in the correct
4:3
letterbox
to
ratio,
21:9.
not actually experiencing it that way. I mean, other than blocking, I guess.
This is actually a better aspect ratio usage than the one. It reminds me a lot of. They use this clever. The aspect ratio is actually very cleverly in the show, like the same way they did it in Spike Lee movie *Da 5 Bloods*, which is a really great movie because for like the first half of the movie, it's all 239, and then for some scenes where it's in Vietnam and you see the Bloods, you see everything is in 4:3, but they shot those Vietnam scenes on 16 millimeter film, and then for like the second half of the movie where they're like for nearly the entire movie when they're in the jungle, sort of, it's literally 185, and then it only goes back to 239 at the end of the movie. I love it when stuff like, for example, the Five Bloods and WandaVision use aspect ratios correctly, unlike Lucy in the Sky, where they constantly kept shifting it.
But it's not like you would see the edges of the screen anyway. This hurts my brain. And we talked about the stages of grief last time and how this is her transition to anger, but there's an almost elastic snapback to denial as if she can't believe that she gave in to the anger, something she hadn't done up until this point, but she has an even harder time in the next episode.
Yeah. We don't have to
Marvel
stay.
Zombies.
We could go wherever we want.
No, we can't.
Nothing like being reminded he's dead to reaffirm that they
Yeah.
can't leave. It's spelled out very clearly here, but Hayward is about to lie to us in the next episode, so we still couldn't be totally sure.
Yeah.
Well, Voodoo Child and the creepiest look-down camera from these two adds a whole other feeling to the sweet sitcoms we've been watching, especially given that Monica just told us.
It's
Oh,
all Wanda.
Where is Geraldine?
She's gone. She didn't belong here.
Conclusive proof that Wanda even controls the previously ons. I mean, obviously she does. I think we can assume Disney Plus is hex magic, but she changed her own line to be a little more aggressive.
Oh, she left, honey. She had to rush home. She's gone. She didn't belong here.
Showing my
Yeah.
age, but while episodes 1 through 3 gave me a touch of Nick at Night nostalgia.
Also, I love that, like, for the first 3 episodes, they were representing the sitcoms that were shot in 4:3 mode. Like I mentioned, they actually used vintage lenses, if I'm not mistaken. They used some of the vintage lenses from, like, those older areas, and, they kind of I think they put filtrations on the lenses, and I do remember in the first episode, there's, like, a hint of cigarette burns, kind of those, the film, what I often call film dots, anyways, like, when you see something like this, it goes boop. Of course, if you've seen Fight Club, you might know what cigarette burns are, because that's what shows up in film a lot. And for this episode, they're going with a 1 or a 16:9 aspect ratio, which is pretty good, actually. I like that they're doing that. And I think they actually switched to other different lenses. I might look up the camera later on or something, but yeah, let's.
Nostalgia.
And for like some of the non-sitcom scenes, they actually shot those all in 239. Although, interestingly enough, they use the same large format lenses from Infinity War and Endgame, the Panavision Ultra Panatar lenses, which are really cool.
let's say more intellectually. This little Full House meets Growing
Who
Pains
cares?
set gives me a very weird feeling of deja vu nostalgia, even though it's brand new. Even more than Fuller House does.
Keep it down, Wes. I was about to get my
An interesting joke about about the Full House thing here is they, of course, you see, it's funny because Elizabeth Olsen, of course, everyone knows her sisters are the Olsen twins, who were Michelle on Full House, but hey.
leg over.
An idiom I'd never heard, and I'm gonna guess it was new for some of you, so let's make Get a Leg Over our CinemaWins word of the week.
Or expression of the week. Get a leg over. Sex to, oh god.
baby.
Also, speaking of Full House, there's a very meta feeling of the younger sister of the twins who play Michelle Tanner using magic on them to make them stop making noise, especially when you consider this.
Lizzie, you just can't come today. Maybe next time. We'll see.
I never knew that existed. I don't know whether to be impressed or scared about that. I don't know for sure.
So that's a thing that exists. But I actually think they did her a future favor with this line.
Or that you're not in the human race.
Also,
still, the fact that I did not know that was a thing. I guess it was Mary-Kate and Ashley, so they were very famous at the time. So it was probably like, do something, make a rap video. It's scary. It's scary yet it's interesting.
Also, I very much love Wanda's 80s hair and Agnes's flash dance
Oh,
get-up,
the
even if
flash
I was a
dance.
little disappointed we only got one episode for the 80s and 90s together, and don't you dare start talking to me about the Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, Full House started in 87, and it ended in 95. The original Full House, not Fuller House. But, yeah. I guess that's why it's 80s and 90s together.
Middle episodes of its 90s, that show started in the year 2000.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna say it again. Full House started way in the late 80s, and then it ended in mid 90s. So Full House is like that sitcom transition where it starts from this decade, then it goes to the other decade.
It's the definition of a 2000 show. Pulling rank here, I was 15 when it came out, and I'm a 90s kid. What in the world was I talking about? Right, 80s good.
Just on my way to Jazzercise.
Hey, come on. I love Malcolm in the
just
Middle.
Can't stop moving.
Do you want me to take that again?
Another break from Hex reality, this time for Agnes to probe how much Wanda is actually in control.
Yeah.
Visually, the title sequence is obviously Family Ties with the painting
looks like
being
Family Ties.
painted. A touch of Growing Pains with the photos and Full House with the running in the grass to the picnic. And then the song is also a duet like Family Ties, but the real feels come from the Growing Pains duet for sure. Also like that we still stay in our reality with Baby Vision and all
Yeah, Baby Vision.
come from the Growing Pains duet for sure. Also like that we still stay in our reality.
The Thing of Nightmares.
With Baby Vision and all 5 birthdays at once for Tommy and Billy.
Yeah.
And even having Wanda's pictures be from Sokovia. A few frames of the start of Wanda's grief while Monica's talking about it.
Monica, I know. I'm big fan.
A big fan of her on the show. Look how giddy she is when she comes in. This also lends credence to the idea that Darcy and Jimmy have seen a lot more WandaVision than we have, which gives me FOMO.
We're gonna need to take these again. There's something wrong with the machine.
Yeah, duh. Photons are all really bright. Because they're light.
The twins were subsequently radicalized, volunteering at Hydra.
Oversimplification of events, but yes.
Fanboy Jimmy.
Does Maximoff have an alias?
No, sir.
No funny nickname?
Unless you talk to Agatha, that witch knows.
Monica, she blasted you halfway across New Jersey.
And I survived because she chose to protect me.
She's
Not something that often gets brought up in this universe. You could maybe argue it was the beginnings of Monica becoming indestructible, but other than the X-ray, which I think is proof that being pushed through actually gave her powers, like after smashing through walls, there's really no indication of that, and I'm gonna jump on anything that redeems Wanda.
9 days ago, Maximoff stormed our facility, stole the Vision's body, and resurrected him.
Liar. But a lie that serves both our narrative's misdirection and Hayward's purpose to turn everyone against Wanda. If you ever catch yourself thinking, man, Monica's twist outs look fantastic, you'll be happy to know it's because she was able to have a team of stylists that knew how to work with a black woman's hair, which sadly isn't always the case.
But how did she even do it? Bring him back without the Mind Stone?
Leave it to Jimmy to keep up that questioning attitude, applying all the things he's learned about the MCU, even asking many of the questions we asked when we saw the first 3 episodes.
Dogs need exercise, training,
Aww.
belly rubs, and...
Oh, man. Oh, Sparky. Only lived through 1 episode. I'm a dog. I have 2 dogs, so it kind of pains me to see any dog dying on or off screen. It's the worst, honestly.
Cuddles.
Ah, yes, the 80s/90s when people's minds did a
Yeah,
complete 180 in the process of doing a bit.
How about Sparky?
And this episode is the first real time we get Vision starting to question his reality. You can see his disappearing smile in the title sequence photos, also realizing that Agnes knows way more than she should.
Oh, it's just because.
by the way, I was gonna say, yeah, like, Mom, we're not getting a dog. Dog. Yeah, it's technically it's a dad cliche, but it's also parents. Parents, we're not getting a dog. Dog. Kids gets dog anyway. The parents. Yeah, that they should have made that into a meme.
Caution, really. I had a hunch someone might pop over with exactly the item we require.
Guys, when I heard your new little bundles of joy were on a sleep strike.
Oh, who told you that?
And even that the one-liners are getting too many laughs.
My ears.
She could have taken out Thanos on her own if he hadn't initiated a blitz.
It's true, she had him. I went back and checked and then got sucked into watching the last 40 minutes of Endgame, which, based on how they talk about it, they all saw it too.
Well, I'd argue that Captain Marvel came close.
Fuck that.
That's what I'm calling the anomaly.
Yeah, she got knocked out with the Power Stone. No, not the Power Stone. I gotta really look up the stones again. It's been a while since I've seen Endgame.
Because of its hexagonal shape, it's starting to catch on.
A rare occasion where fetch happened.
She can change things as
It's
they
not
go into
going
the
to happen.
hex.
You called it the hex.
It's a hell of a thing watching you work these computers, Vision. It's like you speak their language.
Ah, Norm, the one tasked with all the Visions of Robot jokes. That and setting up the puns.
Letter opener.
Ah, we don't need that. We're already cutting edge.
Top secret communique. Authenticate. Dr. Darcy Lewis finding...
Another break from sitcom reality, but this time for Vision.
Yeah,
the camera
kind
comes
of
in again to track in front of Vision.
Oh, come on, pal. What are we going to write back? You're the office funny guy. It's a joke. Can't you tell? None of it is real.
Clairvoyance.
It hurts so much. Just make her stop. Just make her stop!
Leading us down the old red herring path to believe Wanda is an actual villain and hurting these people on purpose.
A dog. Speak.
That kid's cheating. No telepathy and dog training.
Where's Dad? You gotta go shoot Dad.
Oh, he's at work.
It's Saturday.
No, it's not. It's Monday.
This morning was Saturday.
So Wanda's reality is starting to slip, with Vision questioning stuff and the types of things we take for granted in sitcoms, like what day of the week it is or why the friends on Friends work like 15 minutes a month. But Wanda keeps pulling it back with a believable in-reality explanation, even heartfelt momenting us.
But he's always going to be your brother because family is forever.
Did she just show red through a black and white monitor?
That is true. Just noticed that.
That's a special kind of reality shifting.
Stay out
Gotta
of my
charge this
home.
phone.
You don't bother me. I won't bother you.
And now really pulling us down the Wanda is bad actually path by having her
Yeah,
acknowledge
and
there is a
also she
world
returns
outside
to a normal
Westview.
accent
But
as
is it just me or do these soldiers have the most steady hands ever? Like even the drift is so smooth? I don't know, I guess I'm jittery. Ah, like father, like daughter. I know, we see her real dad and it's not Magneto, but you never know where we're headed.
You need Lagos brand paper towels.
Yikes, choosing a mission where you accidentally blew a building up to name your product that cleans stuff up after. And you can still hear the spill still dripping to the floor since Wanda was never really able to clean up her mess.
Ah, don't worry, he's sure to turn up. Your mom won't let him get far.
Mailmen always know more than they let on.
We can't
That is true.
reverse death, no matter how sad it makes us. Some things are forever.
And here's our very special episode moment that flies in the face of everything Wanda is doing. She didn't technically raise Vision from the dead, although he may disagree, but she did construct an entire reality to save herself from feeling his death. So exactly as contrived and toothless as most of the messages from sitcoms. Except for the ones on Fresh Prince, but that's what you get for skipping over the 90s.
You can't control me the way you do them.
Lee mentioned Fresh Prince there. I remember the episode where Will's dad leaves. Like, Will's dad shows up. And, like, I remember for, like, that entire episode, like, the ending of that episode, no one was laughing. And, that line, it brings a tear to my eye when he says, "How come you don't want me, man?" And, where Will there kind of realizes, and, like, even though that moment for me is special because, even though Will can get on Uncle Phil's nerves, you know, right there, Uncle Phil chooses to hug him there as a son. I actually remember Will Smith saying that, after that scene, James Avery, rest in peace, said, "Now that's acting right there." But that scene from Fresh Prince, it's forever cemented in my memory.
Can't I?
Ooh, reality control burn.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed.
No, we're not done.
But also super creepy, starting to be way too many cooks in here, I'd say.
Norm has a family. Wanda has a family, and he
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop lying to me!
You don't want to know, I promise you.
You don't get to make that choice for me, Wanda!
So Vision is definitely his own person, but it would be silly to pretend like a version of Vision created through Wanda's grief wouldn't be influenced by it. And back to our stages of grief we were discussing before, Wanda is no longer in denial.
You only recently became aware of it.
Aware of what?
She's fully in the anger stage, which would spill over onto Vision.
Wonder why are there no other children in Westview?
And you know what they say when making movies and shows don't work with kids or animals. As Agnes says,
Kids. Can't control them.
which Wanda really can. Her magic doesn't work on the baby.
Now I remembered another meme. I remembered after this episode came out, it's like, Vision would have to deal with the Psycho X. And I was on Instagram, and all of a sudden, I saw the clip from Rush Hour 2 where Carter is talking to that Asian girl who was kicking his ass, and of course, Carter, weirdly enough, gets the upper hand, and he's like, "We could have been real good together. We could have had something special, but you one crazy ass bitch." Ah! I love those first two Rush Hour movies. Those first two films in the Rush Hour series were something special. The third one, not so much. I didn't really care much for the third one.
Babies to make them sleep, but really I think she just subconsciously didn't want to deal with kids, like even subconsciously acknowledged that she had enslaved them, but Vision asking her made her roll them all out for the next episode.
She recast Pietro?
Yeah, that's as far as the joke was meant to go.
Yeah.
They took the 80s Quicksilver from Apocalypse, but
I also remember now the meme was, Pietro's entrance in WandaVision, but it's set to Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Yeah. I remembered flipping with this, but of course we all know what happens later on. I won't spoil it, but I didn't really mind much of the twist because I try not to care much about fan theories. If you get too obsessed with your own theories, you might end up getting disappointed.
But let's be honest here, you can't throw a Fox mutant at us and not expect everyone from your grandma to your dog to assume you're promising the multiverse. So cute, but also jerky.
Ralph sprays it on me every night, but
By the way, didn't mention it last video because Pietro hadn't shown up yet, but when Agnes talks about Ralph, she's talking about Boner here.
Boner. I had to say it. Sorry.
the only way Ralph would remember our anniversary, what Ralph could really use is how to goose your wife. Not that Ralph ever wants to eat anything other than my husband, Ralph.
Ralph looks better in the dark.
Ralph.
Who's a popsicle?
Fair, though. Fair.
I never thought about that. That every time Agatha kept saying Ralph, that she meant Ralph Boner. So maybe it was a ploy where she was like, I gotta know more. And then it's just the deadbeat Ralph, like, hey, what you want, girl? Earl hypnotizes him and, uses her knowledge of patriarch. You know what? I think I'm less angry about it now, because I think in episode 7 it was revealed that it was not. And that we kind of see that Agnes was using somebody else. So that was like... So I'm not really as pissed off by the Ralph Boner twist, because of, we kind of find out that it was Agatha all along. Had to put that joke in there. So yeah. I'm sorry, I'm thinking. It's wild mass guessing. Oh god. I'm just thinking about this now. Yeah. So I'm not as angry with the twist as everyone else, because I feel like it's people just don't. It's people who are angry, just people who just generally don't pay attention. You know, it's yeah.
So I get less They Might Be Giants vibes from this title sequence and more like somewhere between pop punk or even early Weezer or slightly less angsty emo of Taking Back Sunday in the early 2000s. But also The Impossibles, oh, and obviously Bikini Kill since they worked with the rebel girl herself, Kathleen Hanna. And now that Pietro is sort of back, Tommy
really.
and Billy have taken their mom's last name. Also, Agnes promoted her naughty self to full-time cast member, and Pietro is only playing himself since he ain't Pietro.
What if it's all illusion? Sit back and enjoy the show.
Also, another theme song that plays right into our fake reality here.
I love that they paid tribute to Malcolm in the Middle with this. Man, I remember Malcolm in the Middle. That was a really fun show.
It's about candy.
And in only a few minutes, we get both the breaking of the fourth
Yeah,
wall
that happened
and the
a
color
lot.
flashbacks with whip pan cuts of Malcolm in the Middle in 2000's DDR. Just because I was 15 when it aired doesn't mean I didn't watch the entire series a few years ago for fun.
That's what I would generally do, even if I am past my prime on certain shows. It's like I've stated this before in some other videos. Last year, I was in a really bad spot because earlier in early 2020, I sort of had a panic attack. In the second week of 2020, in the second week of January, I had a bit of a panic attack, and I almost could not sleep for 2 weeks. I sort of had nightmares. I had to take a lot of medicine, to calm down. I'm still taking medicine to calm down, and it's not easy because and also because last year was the year of the pandemic, that China unleashed their beer virus upon us, you know, and I thought to myself, you know what? I need to watch sitcoms. I don't care if they don't age well. I just need sitcoms to calm down in a way, kind of something that makes me happy, something that makes me laugh. So I kept watching random sitcoms, like, of course, I rewatched The Nanny, just a whole bunch of other Nickelodeon sitcoms. So, yeah, regardless of your opinions on sitcoms, at least I can use them for a purpose, which is to feel better. And if people want to make fun of me, they can, but hey, unless you went through a panic attack where you could barely sleep for 2 weeks, and that panic attack happened to just so occur on the same year the pandemic began, then I don't know about you. It's your loss, honestly. I'm sorry, right? But try, all right? You don't watch horror movies during nighttime because then you will never really, really sleep. Sorry about that tangent. Also, split diopter, that it's noticeable here. I've noticed this effect a lot of times. I know Brian De Palma uses the split diopter a lot, and I think it was in the first Mission Impossible movie that he uses the split diopter. Um, and I also think Robert Wise, the guy who directed The Sound of Music, he also uses a lot of split diopters. So yeah, I really do enjoy the effect of the split diopter. I like where it's like you can see the edging focus here. It's like almost breathable here. Like so the same character. It's like a comic book in many ways. I'm surprised not every comic book movie uses like some certain split diopter effect because it would create a really cool effect.
Split diopter.
I'm a Sokovian fortune teller.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I didn't watch the entire series a few years ago for fun. Split diopter.
Point that you should always be careful with what you read on Reddit, but I remembered everyone was lusting over Elizabeth Olsen. Let's say I dabbled in. I like her in this costume. I think I remembered the meme where it was they resurrected the meme for Wonder Woman 1984. Life is good, but it can be better. And then they show the end of WandaVision. It's like, man, I'm just added here
And
today.
a Sokovian fortune teller.
Darling, I know you have a secret thing for Mexican wrestlers.
Cute cover stories for cheesy comic-accurate costumes.
Yeah.
That's not exactly how I remember it.
So if Agnes has the ability to break character
Yeah.
and gives that power to Peter, maybe she or they can write their own cutaway gags.
Yeah.
The neighborhood watch is the only thing that stands between the trees and the toilet paper.
But no, that's not what you're supposed to...
What?
Last episode, Vision questioned everything, and now he's playing into the silly sitcom storylines to get his own way.
You work for me?
I actually don't know.
Honesty.
And which one of you is the sassy best friend?
More sexism and racism. Well played, even more
Yeah.
clearly looking villain guy. Teamwork. Even if
I'll
they could have
probably
made
talk
it
about
more
Hayward
teamwork.
later
Why
on.
didn't anyone tell me the plan?
Still teamwork.
Yeah, kick ass.
I feel the need.
Full speed. Maverick.
No, that was your other brother. Or actually, both of them, I guess.
I knew that. When I heard that name, I thought to myself, oh yeah, right, Kick-Ass. Man, I love that first Kick-Ass movie. That first Kick-Ass movie was so freaking great. It's too bad the second one sucked ass. I feel like the second one sucked because it wasn't creative. Whereas Matthew Vaughn, when he did the first one, he gave it a certain energy that it had a really cool vibe. But with Jeff Wadlow, he just kind of made it into a generic comic book movie. It kind of like, say, Blade Trinity in many ways. You know, Kick-Ass 2, in my opinion, wasn't good. That's just how I feel about it, though. Hey, look at me using my own phone to press the phone. Also,
Somehow the music and the camera movement makes me think that Paul Bettany is acting like Bryan Cranston, but I don't actually think he's meaning to. Shows you how important setting the stage is. Dark. Stuck in an editing loop. You could say these people on the outskirts.
I hate pausing all the time, but I was also thinking about what Ralph was saying, the fake Fietro was saying, I feel the need for speed. And I thought of, I feel the need for speed. God, I can't wait to see Top Gun Maverick. And also, I've seen Top Gun a lot. And, yeah. That felt really much like the Bryan Cranston move there. Plus, I want to talk about Hayward later, because
are just at the edge of Wanda's reach, but I also saw it as them repeating their cues, waiting for Wanda and the main storyline to show up. But since Vision didn't do what he was supposed to do, and technically Pietro isn't part of the original script, they never make it there.
Yeah.
Sorry, premature on that last win. Dark.
Snagged on yo magic, bro.
Also, this commercial now makes me wonder if Agnes can make her own commercials, because that's her thing, snacking on your magic, whether it be other witches or Wanda's.
Yo magic, the snack for survivors.
Fast Guy movie and Twins movie.
Magic, the snack for survivors.
Plus, also, because Marvel is owned by Disney, Incredibles, Pixar, a division of Disney, Parent Trap, depends which Parent Trap it is, because I know that the one that most people remember is the one that was directed by Nancy Meyers, the one that had Lindsay Lohan as the twins. And I think there was also the original 60s film. Or it could be both of them, I don't know, but point is, Disney in a Disney Plus series. So yeah, kind of like the company pipping themselves out, you know.
Fast Guy movie and Twins movie.
Technically, superhero
So it just
family
occurred to me
film.
that this is still scored with the Malcolm in the Middle style music, still 16:9. Wanda is still creating this footage, right? But because she doesn't have direct control of the
Not
chaos
really.
magic, it's mostly on autopilot? And also that Vision
No,
isn't completely under
yeah,
her
that's the
control,
point.
he has autonomy, even as he moves to the area where she's not directly controlling these people.
Are those your children?
Town Square Scare. Where is it?
Oh, well, the town square.
Did we mention that Catherine Hahn is always a win?
Yeah.
That little laugh.
She is all in.
No. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
Because I'm not.
Dead.
And this was a huge clue that Agnes has been faking, and even this is a big
Yeah.
ruse just to freak Vision out more and get him to question even more stuff, maybe even see if he'll leave the hex.
All is lost.
Agnes!
And premature on giving her a win for her laugh. She's a witch, all right.
Yeah.
Will I am. I mean, Kestrel. I mean, John Wraith.
The energy inside has rewritten.
Wraith? Yeah, I will at least say one of the surprisingly, I will say Will.i.am did a pretty decent job in X-Men Origins, even though the film completely was horrible and it sucked ass. But yeah, he did a pretty good job because I was expecting, oh, I know this musician, but he did a surprisingly good job given the material he had to work with. You know, he was pretty good in that movie, I will say. So, yeah. Although,
In your cells.
Yeah, we know and we love it. You know, with the hay maze and the gazebo, I can't help but get some Gilmore Girls feels.
Where were you hiding all these kids up till now?
What?
yeah.
No need to traumatize beyond the occasional holiday episode cameo, am I right?
Okay, that makes even more sense, except for the whole we dream her dreams thing Norm brings up later. But no way Wanda could have known that.
We have your nightmares.
You've handled the ethical considerations of this scenario as best you could. Families and couples stay together.
And of course, Ralph would know some stuff from before Wanda showed up, like couples still being together and that personalities aren't that far off.
How'd you even do all this?
Finally working on Agnes's directive again.
I only remember feeling completely alone.
By the end of episode 6, Wanda has finally left anger and is now into bargaining. We got a little bit when she left the Hex last episode, but I'd also still call that anger since she was threatening them. But now she's trying to explain everything she's doing away because it's worth it in the end and everyone's okay, right?
Endless nothingness.
And we hear just a touch of her accent come out since she's being sincere with someone.
Oh, the zombies.
Halloween. Cataract, blurry vision, white vision, it all checks out. Should be clear that he's a Hex creation, but I guess you could still say that because Wanda's power is what's keeping him alive, that he needs to be in there, but you'd think he would just drop to the floor in pieces as soon as he exited the Hex rather than all this. Night of the Living Dead, a movie Wanda's subconscious would definitely pick.
It's not like your dead husband could die twice.
Except that one time Thanos rewound time. Hex sense.
Only she didn't say fudge. She said I had to reference A Christmas Story again.
The ship. Literally,
Yeah,
you can't
you
curse
can't
on network
curse on
TV.
network television.
And everything turns into another form of entertainment, a circus. The middle 3 episodes are where the showrunners teased X-Men Peter Maximoff only to disappoint everyone in the last 3 episodes. One of the few complaints about the show, but that's only if you ignore that the 90s didn't get their own episode, which I haven't ignored. That and the many clues and hints towards Mephisto, especially all the stuff about kids. But really, we'll talk about that more next time. The main 3 characters I mentioned last week are still amazing, but the new main 3, Tiona Paris, Randall Park, and Kat Dennings, are equally as awesome. And really, Evan Peters gets a bad rap because he was a bait and switch, but he plays that annoying role fantastically. Next week, a new movie.
Wonder Woman 1984. I've already seen the video, so, you know. The thing you always wanted before the thing that ends up even being better than the thing you wanted. That's
Oh, somebody better be bleeding, broken, or on fire.
So yeah, that was another really good episode. I do remember people complaining, but like I said, I wasn't as pissed off. I might have been like, yeah, okay, fine. There, Marvel, you've had your boner joke. It took you this long. But I wasn't as angry about it because I think we slightly did get confirmation that it was Agnes. Or Agatha, damn it. Damn it, Agnes is too much of a catchy name. That, you know, Agatha was basically controlling it. You kind of saw that in episode 7, but then again, I feel like the problem with fandoms is that sometimes maybe fandoms can ruin a film, a potentially good thing, but there are times where I do agree with certain fandoms, but it's only because I'm just trying to end this conversation very badly, like a very bad conversation. I don't know. But yeah. I do notice that, you know, I get where fans would be upset, but you know, I think it's because I think Marvel is essentially trying to wait until they're finished with Phase 4, and then we'll probably go to Phase 5, which maybe we'll be introduced to the X-Men by Phase 5. I don't know for sure. You know, maybe, who knows? God willing, we all get that. We all get what we want at the end. And I liked where Lee touched in on Hayward's plan but before we do that, let's see here. WandaVision television miniseries. Where is it? IMDb. WandaVision, IMDb. I'm gonna look up some of the camera details on this. Episode list. Yeah, company credits, because I want to access these very quickly. Technical specs. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Um, yeah, 133 for episodes 1 through 4, Westview scenes, and then 5 through 7, and then a variable for episodes 1 through 7. Yeah. So it looks like, yeah, they use these lenses here, the Ultra Panatar lenses, which were used on a lot of things, including Infinity War and Endgame is where they were first used. So yeah, they shot these. So they shot some of the real world stuff with the anamorphic lenses to match that MCU style. Notification, 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 notification. All right, not really much important. No, I'm surprised no one really talks about Hayward that much, because he was a pretty interesting villain without intentionally trying to be the villain. Because let's all be fair. We all know who Hayward is inspired by. He reminds me a lot of a certain individual. Guess who? J. Edgar Goddamn Hoover. Because, essentially he was talking about how Hayward plans to turn everyone against Wanda. And how he manipulates them. Because J. Edgar Hoover, damn it, when I try to say something, the YouTube bell hits up Nickelodeon crossovers. Alright. Because look at this look at the face of this, this bastard right here. I don't, you can try and take me down, FBI, but there's no, he did a lot of bad things during his time in the FBI. He basically used his authority in the FBI to get what he wanted. And from what I know, he would target, civil rights movements, and, because of him, Malcolm X got killed. And Martin Luther King got killed. In many ways, I'm pretty sure he's the reason. And also Fred Hampton, because of course we all know, even now thanks to Judas and the Black Messiah, on how, the FBI hired an informant to help take down and murder Fred Hampton. And, see, I keep getting these notifications. I am trying to talk about the worst person to ever exist, and YouTube is like, no, 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 no. It's like the FBI is controlling my page. I hope not, though. And also, COINTELPRO. This was a thing here. How Hoover was becoming increasingly frustrated with the U.S. Supreme Court decisions that limited ability to persecute. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up here. Victims of COINTELPRO. Pages, yeah, here it is, category, COINTELPRO targets. Let's look at all these. The Black Panther Party, the Communist Party, Nation of Islam, let's see. Yeah, Muhammad Ali, was apparently a target. Black Panther Party, Black Liberators, Tabitha Chase, I'm looking at it here. Gold, and right here, one of the biggest victims, Fred Hampton. And I remembered after an interview that William O'Neill, the infiltrator of the informant inside the Black Panther Party, after an interview in the 90s, William O'Neill committed suicide. Thus, Judas and the Black Messiah, because it's similar because Judas betrayed Jesus for silver or gold. I have it here. Judas suicide. Right here. According to Matthew 27, chapter 27, 1 through 10, after learning that Jesus was to be crucified, Judas attempted to return the money in exchange for 30 pieces of silver that he had been paid for his betrayal to the chief priests and committed suicide by hanging. Although William O'Neill died in a car accident. Let's see. Yeah, Fred Hampton was a big victim. Yeah, Martin Luther King Jr. and the Ku Klux Klan. Although, wait, wasn't the Ku Klux Klan white supremacists? Because, yeah. John Lennon, Malcolm X, yeah, and, where is it? If I go up again, yeah, Jean Seberg, and her death was essentially, I remember her, Jean Seberg's ex-husband had sued the FBI because the FBI was constantly on Jean Seberg because of the fact that she was a bit of a liberator, that she supported the Black Panther Party. And the feds tried ruining her, and they ruined her life essentially, and she had a deteriorating mental health, and her ex-husband sued the FBI, although I think unsuccessfully, unfortunately, because essentially, and I think it's because and also I think they said he was against homosexuals, but let's see, right here, sexuality, because um I think that was a thing, because I think homosexuality was viewed as a no-no back in the 40s. Back in the 40s and 50s, the 40s and 50s were like a a conservative era where, you know, yeah, I think that's what it was. And um I think the movie J. Edgar kind of delved into that personal side, if I remember. J. Edgar Clint Eastwood film. Right here. Yeah. Is an American. Uh, yeah. Um, the focus is on the career from the Palmer raids onward. And if I'm not mistaken, a certain actor, Clyde Tolson, if I'm remembering here, he is best known as the protege and longtime top deputy of FBI director. And apparently, I think that was a thing that was frowned upon, was homosexuality, if I'm not mistaken. And so J. Edgar Hoover tried to distract everyone by using his power. The theory speculated that Clyde Tolson, who had become an assistant director to Hoover in his mid-40s, was a homosexual lover to Hoover until his death and became his primary heir. Which would make sense because, but J. Edgar Hoover was like the devil in plain sight. And the fact that the FBI constantly did those things, it reminds me a lot of what Hayward is doing. He's trying to turn everyone against Wanda. And there have been petitions, I think. Let's see, hold on. Petition to remove J. Edgar. Her name off FBI building. Right here, petition off of FBI. Remove the name J. Edgar Hoover from the FBI building. Which, the thing is, there have been attempts to remove it, but the FBI, I think, refuses to. Wake up, FBI! J. Edgar Hoover was a horrible person who deserves to be shat upon. God damn you, J. Edgar Hoover. Damn you, J. Edgar Hoover. You were a horrible person, and I'm glad you are no longer alive. I'm not saying that, like, sometimes I get angry because I love America. I love the United States of America, but I just can't get with the government that constantly runs it under the damn ground. It's irritating. It's irritating to think that the FBI will never wake up and realize that J. Edgar Hoover was a horrible person. Like I said, he constantly did terrible things. He was keeping tabs on black people because he was a racist person, right? Like, people saying that, Walt Disney was anti-Semitic. Walt Disney, I don't think, was necessarily anti-Semitic. I don't think he was, but he stopped being friends with someone who was an anti-Semite, if I'm not mistaken. But no, of course, the Walt Disney is an anti-Semite joke is what is most popular and most, headline worthy of. No, J. Edgar Hoover was a racist and a goddamn anti-Semite. In fact, right here, J. Edgar Hoover. God, that was just an interesting thing. I know I'm probably thinking about it too much, but I can't help shake the feeling that Hayward's character is based off of J. Edgar Hoover. When you consider what he's doing and that, the fact that he's actually got something secret planned, and we do see what he has planned. He has there's a white vision at the end, and he's, trying to resurrect Vision, but he never could do it. And, he keeps that secretly under tabs. That's kind of an allusion to the shady stuff J. Edgar Hoover did and making sure no one would ever question him. I know I'm thinking about it too much, but I thought it was just an interesting discussion to have. But anyway, we're in this video for about, 15 minutes. A lot of me just ranting on J. Edgar Hoover. Oh my god. Alright, so I'm going to end the video here. This was everything great about WandaVision, episodes 4 through 6. And I think we're getting the part 3 of this this weekend. So I already left a like because I've already seen this video. Leave a link down to the video in the In fact, I'm gonna write it here. Let me leave. Am the only one. How do you spell parallel? I parallel. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Parallel. I want to leave a comment. See if you can find it amongst the amongst the 1,306 comments. Jesus. All right, so I'll leave a link down to the original video down below, and also a link to CinemaWins. 1.83 million. Wow, now it's 1.83 million. That's interesting. And yeah, also a link to my Instagram page because I'm that nice. And I'm gonna end it here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you do subscribe, ring the bell to stay notified. And I guess I should end it here. So thanks for watching, and I wish you all Godspeed. Take care.